reporting, I don't know, on the GWTA. And Dave has been working very hard, along with the rest of us, actually, just creating these Ride with GPS routes for you. This year in particular, I mean, those of you who have been with us before have probably used a combination of Ride with GPS and paper maps. What we're encouraging you to do this year is to make this year the year that you finally make the switch to Ride with GPS. And we've put such a lot of work into the Ride with GPS files. We hope that you'll appreciate them and use them. And the other thing that we wanted to say is that we're going to be on a lot of different trails. We're not going to be entirely on the Great Lakes Waterfront Trail this year. We're going to be on the G2G Trail. We're going to be on the Brantford to Hamilton Rail Trail. We're going to be on the Thames Valley Parkway Trail. And there's going to be lots of different signage and different styles of maps that we need to use while we're riding along. So why not make life easier for yourself, remove all possibility of getting lost, and use the Ride with GPS, because all the turnings are there for you. We don't want to have to come and find you. We spent a lot of time looking for people in the past. We will come and find you, but we think there's far less possibility of getting lost if you use Ride with GPS. And I think that's all that I have to say. I mean, you don't want to listen to me when you're watching the recording. So let's hand this over to Brett, who's sitting in the second row on my screen. But there he is. I'm going to mute myself, and Brett can get on and start describing how you will use Ride with GPS with your phone, with other devices, and how easy it's going to be, hopefully. So over to you, Brett.
No pressure there. How
No
easy it's
pressure,
going to
no.
be. No pressure. No, that's great. Thank you for the intro. And thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Um, my name is Brett. I'm the account manager for Ride with GPS, and I help out all of our North American partners. So events, bike shops, tours, tourism boards, and organizations like yourselves. So Ride with GPS is a cycling GPS software to help folks find and explore routes near and far. I use it locally where I live in Colorado. I use it. I was at the Ragbri event this past weekend in Iowa. Used it to find routes and to help folks out there. I figured I'd start with a little bit of show and tell, just sort of showing my screen. I'll show it what the web version looks like, and then I'll plug my phone in and sort of walk you through what the app looks like as well, because using on your you'll be using your phone a lot for the navigation side of things. So we'll just start with what it looks like on the web, and I'm going to share here. I believe you can all see that. If I get one head nod, great. See a couple head nods. So I've RSVP'd to the 30-year event that's happening on August 8th. So I'm logged in as Brett, the person. Here I am. This is my account. And if I want to view this on the website, mobile web browser, or on my computer, I can view all of my events. Like I said, I was just at Ragbri this past weekend. I could click here and we'll refresh. And I'm going to see, all the details that the folks have put in. What the event's about, the dates, where it starts. We can see that I've RSVP'd for it. And by RSVPing for this event, what that does is allows me to download these maps for offline use to my phone. It also allows me to get voice navigation, turn-by-turn voice navigation for the whole week of routes. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, like you don't have to use paper maps, you don't have to guess, you don't have to follow your friend who takes a wrong turn. The voice navigation is going to help you get to the end of the ride, get to your campgrounds, your hotels, wherever you might be staying. So I highly recommend everybody RSVP. Once that's done, this is what it'll look like on the web. Again, we can look at day 1. I can go to the route. I can get some more details. I can zoom in. I can zoom out. I can see the elevation profile here, see what's happening. I can see some, here's a restaurant. Down here, there's the different route options. This is particularly important if people use Garmin's or Wahoo's or any sort of cycling device. You can send it to your iPhone or your Android device. You could also send it to a different device. iPhone, Android, Garmin, Wahoo, Hammered, other. So we could walk through these steps, but I recommend everybody sort of do this before the morning of August 8th, because we do see that sometimes people are like, hey, I'm here. I've got my tires pumped up. I've got my water bottles filled, but where am I going? So I recommend just doing this from the comfort of your home. You have, 2.5 weeks before the event starts. So that's always recommended. But if I wanted to send this to my iPhone, because that's what I use, I could just click that and I should get a notification on my phone that the route's been sent. Yep, it just beeped at me. So now I have the route on my phone. It's going to give me some different instructions. So in case nobody's paying attention to me or I'm speaking too fast, they'll walk you through this too. So back to the route, all that information is there. Any questions on the web view while I'm here? All good there? Okay, great. Okay, so
How do we get onto that web view?
yep. I don't know if the event link has been shared or not yet. It looks like there's only two folks that have RSVP'd so far. So I would recommend if that route link or the event link hasn't been shared, that it's shared. I could also just share it right now in the chat if we want to do that too.
Please
I was
do.
just about to post it into the chat.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to do that, David.
David, is the Ride with GPS finalized, or will people need to also download it again closer to the date?
There may be changes, so I'm sure Brett will get into this, but as long as you update the routes, then it will kind of auto update all of them. Like it'll refresh them, as if I'm not misunderstanding. So please correct me if I am. But yeah, they're close to final, and it'll allow everybody to do the download and fiddle around with them tonight if they need to be.
Yeah, and to sort of piggyback on what David mentioned, this happens a lot where an organizer sends out route events or a tour operator sends out route events and weather comes in, Department of Transportation says, hey, you can't go down this road. There is a function where if a route is changed for whatever reason, this bridge is out, we have to reroute at kilometer 52. There's a way for David and the team to send that update for you all to get an email notification that the route, could be day 1, could be day 6, that day 6 has been changed. So make sure you re-download that route so you have the correct route information available.
I have a question.
Sure.
So what is the event name? Because GWTA 25 does not come up for me, I don't think. I'm looking.
Well, currently you wouldn't be able to find it because it's set to private. So that, yep, I can view it because I, have secret access and was able to get in there and RSVP. But if I wasn't, if I was just a member of the general public and searching for this, that's why it's hidden from view right now. But that link that David will share, people click that, and then you'll be asked to sign into your GPS account if you have one, or sign up for one if you don't. And if you don't have an account, you can sign up for our free version, which unlocks all of those features for the week of the event for all the routes in there.
Just a quick question, David. I see where the link is on the chat, but in my case, I'm just sharing the chat with Ron. And how do I get it to my phone?
Well, you can email it to yourself or text it to yourself. The link is the link basically provides the exclusive access that Brett was talking about. So anyone with the link here, and it can be sent to multiple different ways, will then have access to the event, even if it's private for the rest of the wide world.
Yep. And I would recommend, maybe sharing that via email as well, just for folks that aren't jumping on the chat or maybe couldn't make the call too.
And I just want to say, go ahead, Joe. I just wanted to say we will be emailing a recording of today's seminar or webinar out to everybody tomorrow, and we'll also include this link in that email. Okay. So watch out for that, and then there might be some other nuggets in that email as well.
Great. Cool. Looks like, yeah, a handful of folks have RSVP'd while we've been on the call, so that's great. Again, you can see the details here. You can check out all the routes if you want to see what's going on there. Yeah, so that's that. Any other questions in the web view? If not, I can jump over and share my mobile app. All right. Try this.
Using Colorado.
And I believe you can all see that, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is the view of the mobile app. This will be similar, a similar display if you have an Android or an iPhone. I have an iPhone, but the functionality and the view is going to be pretty darn similar. So again, a little walk through the mobile app. We have a route planner up top, events, and the good thing with our platform, one of the really nice things is that there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you can see I have my events down here, but there's also an event button up here. And just to make it really easy, we have a third way to find events. So if you can't find the event, let me know. We can try to add a fourth option for people searching for events. But there's three different ways to find and access your event on the mobile app. So if I wanted to check out this event, again, I've joined. You can see that. I can remove myself if something happened that I'm not going, or if on August 16th. Was that a question there? No. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could tap this three dot button up here. I could share the event with folks. I could download the routes, or I could share a QR code. So if I want to download all the routes, now I'm downloading them for offline use. The benefit here is if you're in spotty cell service, don't have a lot of data, don't want to chew through your phone battery, and you plan to use your phone for navigation, you can have these for offline use. So you're going in and out of cell area, you're not going to lose the routing. You can also put your phone in airplane mode, so that'll help preserve the battery life as well. Once these routes are downloaded, you'll see at the very bottom down here, there's a few buttons: Home, Explore, Record, and Library. You'll click on the Library button, and there's Offline. So this is where on day one, on August 8th, I would scroll down. Let's see if where did it download?
Excuse me, could I ask a quick question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I noticed on my screen anyway that it looks like you've got it in feet and miles.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be putting it in kilometers?
I'm based in the US, so my
Oh,
default is feet and miles.
uh-huh.
So if your app and you set it up, you can set it into kilometers
Okay.
and meters. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. I didn't I can never do the conversion in my head. I'm not that smart enough. They don't teach us that in school here. So that's I just have mine still set to feet. So here's day one. So you can see I have it downloaded and it's loading. And if I wanted to, I could save it again. I could, if folks use a cycling computer, I use a Wahoo. So you can see down there at the bottom, it's a send to Wahoo. So if I was using my device for navigation, I would send it to my Wahoo and it would wirelessly sync over to my cycling computer. And I can walk you through how to set those up too, if there's any Garmin or Wahoo users out there. When I'm ready to ride on day one, day two, whatever it might be, I'll just click this orange navigate button. And obviously I'm quite far away from the start of this. So if I want to route to the start, it's going to, have me starting 2,000 miles away or whatever it might be. I'm just going to start off course. We'll pretend. So it's going to give you all of your metrics, your distance, your speed, your duration. If I click this little box here, I can get a full screen view. There's different map layers as well. So if I wanted to see maybe some of the unpaved roads that are nearby, things like that. There's a cue sheet. There's this on the bottom, there's metrics elevation. So I can click this elevation and see the elevation profile. So it looks like it starts with the descent on day one, and then it's sort of pretty flat throughout the day, and then another climb up at the end of the day. I can go to cue sheet, and this will tell me all the turn-by-turn voice navigation cues. And then if I go to tools, I can again share this route with folks. I can turn my volume up and down. There's a setting, there's a option in here we call handlebar mode. So this happens a lot. Your screen will turn off when it's not being used. If you're scrolling, you're reading the news, you're looking at photos, it's going to stay on. But if you're just, riding your bike for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it might be, your screen might turn off. So if you go to the settings tab, and then there's handlebar mode here, 1, 2, 3, fourth down, handlebar mode. If I turn that on, it's going to keep my screen on for the duration of my ride. Something to remember is that having your screen on the whole time will use a little bit more battery life. So if you're worried about losing battery life, I would just keep your screen, to turn on and turn off. But if it does go dark, you could just tap the screen and the map will pop right back up. You'll still get voice navigation if the screen is dark though. If I wanted to finish my ride or say we're stopping for lunch, I could just, it's a long pause back there. So I'm navigating and basically I'm holding and holding that button for a second. And then if I wanted to resume, lunch is over, restroom break is over, we're stopping for a break, then I could restart my ride. And then if I wanted to save it, I could finish my ride. I can name it whatever I wanted. Test ride. And then I would save my ride. So now it's going to be saved in my library. And I obviously didn't go anywhere, but that's my house and me just sitting here in my office. Under your library, you have rides, routes, pinned, and offline. A ride is basically you get on your bike at home, you get on your bike and on vacation, you just go for a bike ride and you record it. That's just sort of a recording of a ride you did. A route is a pre-planned activity that you plan to do with turn-by-turn navigation. So it's what's coming up for you all on August 8th. And then again, pinned would be routes that you've saved to use on your Garmin or your Wahoo or another cycling computer. Offline would be maps that are downloaded to your phone for offline use. So you're not going to need cell service or cell data to use those routes if you're navigating from an offline map. If I am a Garmin user, I use a Garmin for my cycling, I can go to More in the bottom right corner, Settings, and right here there's Connected Services. So I could connect my Garmin. So the way these things work is Garmin has a app, Garmin Connect, Wahoo has an Element app, and those are the things that talk to Ride with GPS. Your computer doesn't necessarily talk to your phone without the apps connected. So you would have to allow Garmin and Ride with GPS to talk to each other, and then you could share information between your phone or your Ride with GPS account and your Garmin or your Wahoo. So if I wanted to connect my Garmin account, I would basically just agree. I would follow the steps, and then I would be able to link any of these routes that have been planned for you to my Garmin.
Okay.
And I can send David some help documentation on that if there's Garmin or Wahoo users out there. I know it's probably a lot to digest right now, but it's easier to do, sort of step-by-step process if folks out there plan on using their cycling computers. Yeah, what else can we show here? So then if any of your activities, so these are the activities, I dropped my daughter off at school yesterday. These are all the rides I've done. They all live here. If I have any friends that I'm following or coworkers, they'll live here. Explore. Explore is a function where I'm visiting somewhere new. I could search an area for different routes that I might be interested in. So I live in Boulder, Colorado, or just outside of Boulder. Lots of routes and lots of riding here. So if I'm visiting somewhere new, I can search for different routes if I've never been someplace. If I was just using my phone to navigate, just to go for a bike ride, again, I would just click this record button here in the bottom center, and I would just start my ride from here.
I don't have a clue. It's been this has been
Do you
there.
have a question, sir? Okay. Do folks have questions? I know I just went through a lot of stuff. I'm happy to go back through anything or confirm anything or clarify
I have a
questions,
question.
comments, concerns.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to edit an event? And if you do, can you save it? And will the navigation still work if you're on the free plan?
You cannot edit the Great Waterfront Trail event because you're not an admin or a manager of that account.
Okay.
So those routes are, you can make a copy of it, but
Okay.
if you have a free plan, you're not able to use voice navigation for the route that you might change. So if I find if I find one of those routes and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool, but I want to start from a different location, I make a copy of it and it's not the official route anymore and it doesn't live in this event, then those features are not unlocked. The benefits and features are unlocked because you've RSVP'd for this event, for this time, for these specific routes.
I was using a similar map yesterday and I went off course and the app asked me, do you want us to keep track of your off course detour and let you know when you're back on the route? What happens in that situation?
You were using our app for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an off-course alert. Basically, it says like, "Oh, you've gone off course." I think it's after 10 meters, maybe it chimes at you saying, you're off course. You could either route back to the course, or you could basically like X out of it to ignore it. If it's like, "Oh, I know I'm off course, but I'm making an unplanned detour to the coffee shop or to my friend's house, or I'm done with my ride. I have a flat tire," something like that. So yeah, you could do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm downloading these maps right now, and I've got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already downloaded. And then it says downloading is pending. Is that just because internet, or is there something up with those maps?
It might be just because, you're trying to download 7, 8, 9 routes right now and maybe just slower internet. The fact that you've got 3 or 4 already complete, it's probably just going to take, another couple minutes for the rest to sync up.
Okay, if I possibly I stopped it, how do I restart it?
As you can see, like on mine, a couple of these are still downloading. If I pause it, I can just resume.
How do I get to that screen that you're on right now?
Library.
Oh, perfect. Thank
And
you.
then offline. Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome.
Can I ask a question?
Can I,
Sure.
I'd like to just make a quick comment first, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Just to build on what Brett was saying and Jackie's question about the routes. So you'll note that there was 14 routes in the Ride with GPS for the event, and we're not out for 14 days. So there are some days in which the participants might be staying in multiple communities. So they might be staying in Blythe, or they might be staying in Goderich. In those instances, we have created alternate routes for people approaching the route from one community or the other. So there will be some of those, especially on the second to last day, where people could be, starting at 2 different communities and finishing at 2 different communities, that kind of stuff. So anyway, there are alternates to that, taking into account those positional changes.
Yeah, that's a good call out, David. And I think I would just, if you're not starting in X town, then maybe that's a map you just remove from your library, just so there's no confusion. I think somebody else had a
Yeah,
question in there.
I was going to ask if, well, how can I save this to my collections rather than just leave it into the events?
Well, it's an event that's created by the Great Waterfront Trail event account. You'd have to make, well, let's see.
Or do I just record it while I'm doing it and then save it afterwards?
Yeah, so basically like when you're navigating one of the pre-planned routes, navigate is the same as record. So
Yeah.
when you're finished on day 1, day 5, whatever it might be, it's going to live in your personal library as a ride that you just completed. So yeah, it's
Okay, that'll
yeah,
do it. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's basically like you could record a ride, like if I just went out for a bike ride right now, or I'm navigating a route, but that's saved as a ride as well because it's an activity that Brett got on his bike, followed this 50-kilometer route, and is finished. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Just have a quick question.
Mhm.
So I'm on mine and I've in my library and I'm on the offline button.
Mhm.
Yours say downloaded, mine say updated. I don't see that they says downloaded like yours. So what's the difference? Is that because I'm on a free version?
No, you've joined the.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am?
Sorry, Nancy. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. So I've joined and I've got the event
Yeah, and then you
and
clicked.
I'm in my library and I'm on
You've
offline.
clicked. You've clicked download routes, correct? Before we're in library.
Let me just see. Go back. How are you getting that again? Home?
Yep. Yep. So I go into the event page, the event
Yep.
here, and then
Yep.
the three dot menu in the upper right. Then I would click download routes. I don't really want to
Download
download
all.
them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what's going on now. Okay, and then I go back to library. And I'm not seeing
And
anything.
you see them under offline.
I see them under offline, but it just says updated. It doesn't say download. Downloaded.
Let's see if I have one that's downloaded. Let's see what happens here when this one finishes downloading. It says download pending.
Mm-hmm. I think that they're downloaded, but I never saw any download.
Okay, it might have just happened in the background while we were on the call. Let me cancel some of these so it speeds things up.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even seen download pending. I just have.
And you have all the routes there.
I see them all. Yep.
Okay.
But
What
I
if you
don't.
what if you click on one right now?
Well, if I do that, I won't be able to tell if it's actually downloaded, will I?
Well,
I
if
can
it's
see.
Can I excuse in a second here? The updates are different days. The update will be July 21st, July 17th, so it's not today's date on them. So
Right.
that could mean that David updated them or something on those days.
So as you can see, mine just downloaded today, or this GWTA 25/7D, this top one, it shows downloaded.
Hmm.
Did they get that?
For some reason,
I'm still.
You have to go.
I'm not getting that notification that they're downloading. It just says they're
Yep.
updated,
Are
but I
you
don't.
are you looking at the routes tab or the offline tab?
Yeah,
I'm at the offline tab.
you have to go through.
Because under routes, it will say updated July 16th, 2025, but offline
Trying to get
should
David
say downloaded.
to my phone.
That's
So they're
strange.
not downloading.
Okay. Well,
I don't
David has
think
my
they are. Yeah.
David has my email, so we can connect about this, later this week and troubleshoot what's going on there. But it should say off downloaded, where under routes it'll have the updated date.
Right.
Like I'm on that, download all in the top right. I do download all,
Mm-hmm.
and it says download started.
Yeah, you won't see it.
I'm just gonna leave it. Leave it for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay,
I was
thanks.
going to say,
Sure.
Brett, I think if it's showing up in offline, then it is downloaded to
It's
that library,
downloaded.
right? So that's
Yeah.
so just so you're aware, like I've been doing this as we've been going on as well. So I have downloaded all my routes to offline tab, and they also show the updated dates, which are the dates that I last amended those routes, which are mostly last week.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you and I both say updated and Brett says downloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It might be the version we're on. I know we've had a lot of different are you on an Android or an iPhone?
On an Android.
Oh,
Okay, I wonder
I'm on an Android as well, so that could make a difference.
that might be what it is because that's a good that's probably what it is. Anybody that has an iPhone might say downloaded where your Android might be, yeah, that's probably the difference.
All right, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
David, at this point, is there any advantage to downloading our maps, or are we better just to wait to closer to the date when things are more finalized?
I don't think it hurts to wait until a bit closer to the date as long as you get them downloaded beforehand. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, Brett, and I'm not sure how this function works, but I think even if you download them now, as long as you connect your Ride with GPS app to the internet, it will automatically download any updates I make. Is that correct? Or do you have to force it to update them?
On the app, it will update them. If somebody sent it to a Garmin, if somebody sent it to their
Yes.
cycling computer, they would have to resend the new version.
Right.
So yes, if anybody's out there,
if
yeah.
they've removed the data from the app, then that no longer applies.
Yep, exactly. Because it's not smart enough or instantaneous to just, Garmin doesn't know like, oh, this has been updated, I'm going to pull the new version. So you would remove it from your Garmin and then re-add it, and then the new version would sync to your Garmin.
Good point.
For those folks that might be using it. Yep.
Brett, I have a question?
Sure.
I'm on an Android and I'm under library, and I got this message say upgrade to go offline. Do I have to upgrade? I have the free version.
No. Have you RSVP to the event? Or are you trying to download?
No.
Okay. That's why.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, that's one of the benefits of RSVPing to the event and having these routes in the event page is that offline maps are free because of the event organization. If you're trying to download these, you're visiting me in Colorado, that's why you're getting prompted to upgrade to a paid version, just like voice navigation.
Okay. And
so
one other thing, do you have any, is there any accessibility settings on the app?
In what regard?
So there's dark mode, increased text, and so forth.
There's not a larger text, and we don't have a dark mode. It's something that the product team is aware of, and we've had that feedback before. But it's not quite available just yet.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I ask a question, please? I'm Ian McKecken. I'm watching from the United Kingdom.
Hi, Ian.
I don't know whether things are different over here. I have the free Ride with GPS. When you showed your screen on your mobile, I've got an iPhone. I get a very limited top menu. All I have is Route Planner, Friends, and Shortcut. When I click on Route Planner, it immediately just tells me that if I want to, it says you're a free subscriber. In order to save, navigate routes, etc., you will need to upgrade to a paid account. In the UK, I ride with Strava and Garmin all the time. But I can't find where the RSVP is. How do I RSVP?
Yep.
Am I fine? Should that be there on this Ride with GPS, or where is it?
That's the link that David shared in the chat, and that'll be the link that they send out post this call with the call recording. because
That'll be
basically,
sent
like,
by email, will it?
yes,
Oh, that's
yeah,
great. Thanks very much.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because
hi Ian, it's Joe here. We are going to send out an email tomorrow, and that email will contain the invitation to the event, the RSV that you can RSVP to, and a recording of today's chat.
Fine. Yeah, well, I've been watching it all so far, but what I was seeing on my iPhone Ride with GPS screen wasn't matching.
Yeah.
Brett was showing it was quite
yeah,
different.
yeah, it's because because you're not RSVP to an event. That's why I
I
have this
see.
event,
Okay, that's fine. I
and
fully
because I'm a
understand.
member of different
Yeah,
clubs or bike shops, so that's where the organization tab comes in. So if you join a cycling club or a tourism board or something like that, that's where your organization button comes in, and then collections, friends, yep, things like that. So that's why it's a
I
little bit
see.
different. Yep. Once
Fine.
you RSVP to the event, you'll have that event little flag up there, that purplish blue flag.
Just out of interest, if I downloaded it to Strava, well, uploaded the route to my Strava, would I get the full navigation details? Or because I bought my Garmin in Europe, and the only preloaded maps are Europe and Greenland. So I did ask Garmin if I download the routes which you've prepared, then when I ride in Canada, it will give me turn by turn navigation. But they said there won't be anything like the topographical detail that you'd get unless you download onto Garmin, which I'd have to pay for, the topographical data for the whole of North America.
I don't, to answer your Strava question, I don't believe Strava has that capability, but I'm not sure. I haven't used Strava in quite a few years, so I don't know if they offer navigation via their app.
Okay, downloading the routes once I've responded to the RSVP onto my Garmin, I will then have all that topographical detail and full turn by turn navigation, no problem, even though I'm riding in a different continent from where I bought my Garmin. Is that correct?
I'm not 100% certain, to be honest, Ian. You'll have turn by turn. I don't know what Garmin's process is and the differences when a unit is bought overseas versus bought here versus bought in Australia,
Fine.
and what maps are loaded onto there. I don't get a lot of emails or questions from tour operators saying, "Hey, we have folks from the U.S. that are going to Italy and they're having issues with their Garmin." So I don't foresee that being a problem, but I don't know offhand because I haven't tried that myself.
Because my other option is I buy myself an iPhone bike mount for my bicycle handlebars, and then I can skip using the Garmin and I can just use Ride with GPS.
Yeah, that's what we see a lot of folks do.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Joe, David, are there the other questions that you all run into, last year, years prior that I didn't touch on, or do you think, we've sort of
Not really. I mean, I think the thing is that we'll get that email sent out tomorrow, and hopefully things will become clear. And we'll also have access to you. I think people can email you once if they have any issues. So then we have the troubleshooting from Brett. That if you're still having an issue, then you can speak to Brett about it. The one thing that we do say, and I know that you've mentioned this already, Brett, is try to get these files downloaded now, and I can see that most of you are doing that, rather than waiting until you're at Mohawk College on the day on August the 8th, the Friday, and we're all trying to troubleshoot for you, because it's really, really difficult for us to troubleshoot when we've got all kinds of other things going on. And we're the first to admit that we're not the Ride with GPS experts. We've created the routes. David's worked really, really hard to create the routes and worked really hard with Brett at Ride with GPS. But we are not the customer service side for Ride with GPS. So we would recommend that you try to get these downloaded now, play around with them, and if you have any issues, we'll get you in touch with Brett.
Yep. Yeah, I recommend that. Just, download them. And if you've never used the app, go for a bike ride this weekend or this week and play around with it, see what works. And, if you're bumping your head against something or you have questions, message me. If I'm unavailable, we can get the support team involved as well, and they're happy to help troubleshoot or answer questions as well.
Wonderful.
And maybe I should kick in now. The Waterfront Regeneration Trust has published under Ride with GPS a number of different cycle routes in the area. And with our account, you should be able to access these features through your free Ride with GPS account as well. So you could test it out on one of our other routes that are closer to home if you're living outside the event area, if you like. So that's another possibility. One thing I think I maybe should kick in, and then I'll turn it back to you, Brett, and then we can see if there's any other questions. I've got a few comments afterwards on mapping, but we've always we're putting an emphasis on Ride with GPS this year because we're off much of the Great Lakes Waterfront Trail for several of the days and celebrating other local trails and pan-regional trails. The Ride with GPS routes are really meant to complement the itineraries and the mapping. So there will be print mapping available as well that we're developing that you should reference in addition to this stuff. So it's not fully encapsulated, but for routing, we're trying to make this as seamless as possible on the Ride with GPS side.
And for those folks that really like that feel of paper and they want a piece of paper, they can do that from the web. It's not available on mobile, but anybody that goes that first page that I showed from the website can print a map in a Q PDF. Print it at home, print it at the library, print it at your office, and have that piece of paper if you prefer that too. Yeah.
I just want to say David's worked on maps. I think, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 printed maps per day that are probably a lot easier to read than the Ride with GPS maps. But we don't have cue sheets. And there are some people that really like navigating with the cue sheet. And that's great.
Mm-hmm. Great.
If it's not too late, I just had a quick question I wanted to ask Brett, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Going off of the cue sheet functionality, I have a Garmin. I downloaded all the maps to my Garmin. I was just wondering if you knew if there's a similar kind of functionality on the Garmin as well for like a cue sheet, or if that's something that's just native to Ride with GPS.
No, so if you've downloaded it to your what Garmin do you have? What is it, a newer version or a newer model?
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. Specifically, it's the 530 Garmin.
Okay. That's an older. It should still have turn by turn on there. Obviously, it won't be voice navigation because the Garmin won't speak to you. But there should still be, left turn on Main Street, right turn in 2 kilometers at First Avenue, things like that. So again, I would, download one of these routes and Garmin, it lives under, they call it courses. So if you're looking for something called routes under Garmin, you're going to be looking for a long time. So if you're in your Garmin, it should be under navigation and then courses. I just pull up, day 1 or day 2 courses and just check that out. But it should have the turn cues in there.
Okay, good to know. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. All right.
So much, Brett. It looks like we've got everything covered. This is record time. I will say that since the first year we introduced Ride with GPS data on the ride, I think there was a handful of people using it. And last year, almost 70% of the people who responded to the survey were using the Ride with GPS. So we know it's a terrific product. Brett, thank you so much for your time today and helping us navigate. And it's such a terrific tool. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's great to partner with you all, and I was looking at the routes and definitely made me jealous that I wasn't going to be up there in a couple of weeks riding with you and seeing the site. So it looks great. And again, like unless there's other questions that pop up, if we hang up and you're playing with the app and the product later this week, feel free to reach out to me or our support team at info@ridewithgps.com, and one of us will get back to you really quickly. Anything else off the top of your mind, David, that you
No,
want to chat
I
about?
think I not with Ride with GPS. So thanks, Brett. I think you've got everything covered, and thanks so much for your time again this year. We appreciate you guys coming and introducing people to the platform each year. It's been really helpful. I think if it's all right, I would like to share my screen really quick, and then and then that'll be it for me, and hopefully we can get everybody out of here. But I just thought I'd share quickly one of the draft maps for this year. So we talked about there being some paper maps that will be printed out as part of the event, and so this is a draft version of the map for our first day around the bay in Hamilton. So if those of you that are a bit more familiar with the tour might notice that this is a little bit of a different style than our current mapping. You will see the route that we'll be following will be marked in red with the relevant roads and some of the adjacent roads labeled to kind of keep you on track. But we're going streamlined and simple with them this year. One thing I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention is that the scale on the maps may change depending on if you're in a rural or an urban area. So the scale would be much more high level once you head into an urban area. Gives you a lot more coverage on the map, and generally it's a relatively simple and straight route, say when we're riding on the G2G rail trail. But I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. And like I said earlier with Ride with GPS, the maps are really meant to complement the Ride with GPS and the itinerary files. So they're not 100% encapsulated on any one of the platforms, but you will receive itineraries for your daily ride as well. And that's pretty much it.
So Dave, it's Brad. So
Brad.
we can download the rides now and Ride for GPS.
Yes, you can download them through the link that I shared in the chat, or through the link that will be sent out by email tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Email tomorrow. Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
And Marlene, I think you had a question, but you're on mute.
I'm on mute. Dave, I just wanted to, maybe you could talk a little bit about wayfinding signage.
Right. That's an important point. Again, because we are not following extents of the Great Lakes Waterfront Trail, sometimes for a day or two at a time. The Great Lakes Waterfront Trail marker, if you're not familiar, those signs behind me with the birdly fish insignia, you'll see those in Hamilton, along Lake Erie and along Lake Huron. But when we're following routes like the G2G rail trail, there will be local wayfinding and there will be event signage in place. So a lot of our event signage is, we have 2x3 very large neon yellow GWTA event signage, and we'll also have in the more urban areas some smaller, I think they're 1x1 square signs that we're piloting this year that will be like strapped poles that will show GWTA and an arrow, so that you'll have to keep your eyes open for those as well. But all these wayfinding tools, in addition to the Ride with GPS, are all, we're trying to create them with enough information in tandem that keeps everybody well on track comprehensively without having to refer to your maps or without getting on track or getting off track.
But I can't emphasize enough, Ride with GPS should be your primary tool. The maps are a great planning tool, sitting around a table and looking where you're going to meet your friends, what's going to happen over the course of the day, and then the event signage. For all those years, we've put signs up and people have said, oh, I missed that sign, or maybe you didn't put it up. But mostly you missed it because, hey, you were having a good conversation, or it seems so small. So please give Ride with GPS a try.
Right. Yeah.
Could I ask a quick final question?
Of course.
I'm obviously from the UK. I've never done this event. I'm well used to doing big riding events in Britain and in Europe, but never in Canada. How big is this event? I've Googled, I've never found out how many people. I just keep getting messages it's sold out full. How many people actually ride?
Go ahead, Joe.
I just actually asked, Marilyn just asked me the same question in the chat. The last time I looked at this, and we've had a couple of people who've had to pull out due to their own reasons, usually medical. We have got 156 people registered. And
Wow.
that I can see Jackie clapping away down there. So it's a full group of people. We have some people who are bringing along friends with cars as well. So we think we'll be, as a traveling crew, including the staff and the volunteers and all the cyclists, will be close to 160 people this year.
Fine. And do most people ride in groups or individually? Again, I'm asking because obviously I'm coming out on my own. I mean, I'm a very sociable guy. I'm sure I'll make friends easily.
I can tell.
I mean, do most people ride with a small group, or it'd be a lot easier for me if I can tag on with someone on day one and get the hang of all this.
You know what? I will introduce you to hundreds of people. As you probably can tell, a lot of these people have done this ride before, but we also have a lot of new people in. And what tends to happen, this is why we have a lot of social events right at the very start of the event. A lot of people come on their own and they want to meet people. And so we try to get everybody involved and talking to each other. People don't tend to ride in a huge peloton. People would ride, for example, I can see people that I recognize here would ride in a group of 2 or 3 or 4, depending on their pace.
Sure.
People make friends along the way. People decide that they don't necessarily like the person that they've made friends with and spend time trying to avoid them. It's all humanity lives here on the GWTA, quite frankly. But people tend to ride in the smaller groups of 3, 4, 5. We hope to encourage people to ride in single file, just because we are quite a large, stretched out group on the road. People do like to ignore what we say about that, but we like to ride safely, following the rules of the road. But we always encourage people being sociable, whilst at the same time paying
Fine.
attention.
Can I just throw out something which, because I'm coming to a different continent, I've obviously had to hire a bike, and Gershom Morris has very kindly got me a nice bike, and because I'm hiring it for 8 days, I'm struggling to find anyone who will insure me. Gershom gave me the name of a broker, Cycle Broker, I think it was called. And he very kindly came back saying, we only provide insurance on bikes for private bikes or bicycle businesses. So he said, hiring a bike, you're on your own. Is that really the case? I mean, obviously, I'll be keeping the bike in my accommodation each night, and, whenever I stop anywhere, I'll lock it up. But if it gets stolen, I'm facing a hefty bill. So is there anyone, because there's a big cycling community here online, can anyone help or advise as to how I can get insurance for the bike for 8 days against damage or theft? I don't suppose you've had this problem before.
I'll ask our broker, Ian. I'll ask our broker.
That's great.
And see what they come up with. They're pretty awesome people. We'll check that out. And I think
we'll look into it for you.
And we'll seek out some volunteers. We'll have a big sign-up sheet. Ride with you don't sound so Scottish, Ian, but ride with the guy from the UK. We've actually put in our press release.
I don't sound Scottish because most of my life I'm ex-military, and I've been all over, and I have a very nondescript accent. I spent 5 years in Germany, and I spent some time out in the States, and I've just, I've no accent anymore. Yeah.
Well,
that's what you think. That's what I think as well. But everyone tells me I have one in.
Yeah,
so
definitely an accent.
People will make sure that you're stuck with me. Like, talk to her. She's from the UK.
Well,
I've lived
I must
here
say,
for 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Jackie's first in the list of volunteering to ride with you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everybody. Are there any other questions? Or we've got a document as well that's prepared. If you've never been on the GWTA before, we'll share that with you. That gives you a bit of a sense of the pace of things, how things are organized, the things that we're expecting. We do see ourselves as cycling advocates. 160 people is not a massive tour, but it's still big enough in the small towns we're visiting that we needed 2 towns to accommodate the people who are in hotels. We have about 70 people in hotels, and or just maybe a little better than 70, and about 50 people camping, just to give you an idea. And we have ages, oh geez, what was it, 19 to 86. So quite a range. You're quite an interesting group of people.
And as far as we know, we have just under 40 e-bikes.
Yes. Go ahead, Michelle.
Is this the only group call we're going to have? Like, if I have other questions, like what do the stops look like? What is the food like? Those types of questions. Should I email you? Do you want me to ask them now? Is there going to be another opportunity?
You know what? I think if you email me, that would be great, just because of I'm looking at the time. But you know, we have modest snacks and we have water and we have Gatorade. And then generally, if you need something special from that, then you should bring it along. But otherwise, we're supporting the towns that support the trail. And Joe does a great job of listing all the businesses that are around, and we hope that you get a flavor, little taste of the culinary. And if you need to be budget or time conscious, there's loads of Tim's.
Got it.
Okay. I think at that we can wrap the call up. And if anybody has any questions, anybody who's been asking me questions knows that I'm pretty responsive. I try to get back to you the same day because I know people are like a little bit anxious at this point in time. So both Marlene and I are busy answering questions. Marlene's more on the phone. I'm happy to speak to you on the phone or basically fire off an email. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Okay.
All right.
I think we'll leave it there.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Take care.
Nice to see you all. Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.